Hi guys, it's a Sovol SV08 video again, but not part 2 of the nozzle upgrade yet. Today we'll be applying the official firmware update SV08 users received for Christmas, and I'll show you how to retain all your calibrations and settings, including print history, for the quickest and smoothest installation. In fact, this should be helpful for any Klipper printer and future updates as well. Wondering what's new this time? We'll explore that too, starting with how to take advantage of this new power loss recovery feature. And yes, we still have to wait for that surprise printer, which seems to be stuck in transit around the holidays. I really hoped I could compare it to the SV08 before the end of the year, but not yet. For anyone new here, I'm Gergo, and you're watching Gergo Print 3D, the YouTube channel about our adventures in 3D printing, laser engraving, and other DIY projects, often having fun with my little nephew. Check out our growing list of videos packed with tips and tricks, and not only for Sovol printers either. As always, I've put in effort to provide transition-ready subtitles and detailed chapter markers. Make good use of them. It's been quite a while since Sovol provided a Sovol update for the SV08. In fact, this is essentially the first one since the printer's release. I was a bit disappointed not to find a changelog in the designated part of their wiki, but at least we get to explore the changes ourselves. So here's the plan for today. We'll create a backup, download and prepare the update media, apply the update, restore our saved settings, and finally explore and test what's new. So backup. Don't skip this step. As the update will overwrite your settings and calibration data, it will even clear your print history. The backup will save us time and restore logs. Personally, I always do a complete eMMC backup, which involves flipping the printer on its side, removing the bottom cover and using the eMMC reader and Win32 disk imager. This is all explained in this earlier video. However, this might be overkill for most of you. It's probably sufficient just to download your config files and database. To download your config files, simply select all on the machine page of Mainsail and download them. Be cautious though, this must be done in a web browser, as downloads don't work from the device page in Orca Slicer. Also, watch out for Chrome's security blocking your download. You will need to be intentional even to get the zipped version of these config files. Double check to ensure they've really been downloaded. The zip file stays on the device and isn't erased by the update, adding another layer of safety. Now, backing up the print history is a bit trickier. While we can download the CSV file from Mainsail, I'm unsure how to restore it. If you know how to import printhistory.csv directly, please let us know in the comments below. A more straightforward solution I found is to directly fetch the database files using WinSCP or a similar file transfer utility. Log into the printer, user Sovol, password Sovol, and download the 2 MDB files located in Home Sovol Printer Data Database folder. Having done these, you should keep the printer on and boot it up while we quickly prepare the update media. You'll need a USB stick for this. I simply used the one that came with the printer and already had the Wi-Fi info saved on it. Although they tell us to format it, I found it worked without doing so. We find a link to their Google Drive in the official wiki. You only need to download the DEB file and save it to the root of the USB stick. I didn't change the file name either. It's good practice to unmount the stick before unplugging it. To apply the update, ensure the printer is powered on and fully booted. Simply plug the USB stick into one of the ports on the side of the printer. You won't see any progress on the stock mini screen, but if an HDMI screen is connected, you'll notice it flicker and reboot after a minute or so. Either way, wait 2-3 minutes for the printer to restart with the updated software. It's as easy as that. You can confirm the update success by checking that the DEB file has been removed from the USB drive. Additionally, the version number should change to 2.4.6, which you can verify on the mini screen. While your G-code files and timestamp backups of your config files are retained, all the active config files are going to be overwritten and print history erased. But this is exactly why we made those backups. To save time redoing calibrations like Z offset, PID tuning, input shaper, and the rest, let me show you how to selectively restore your previous configurations. We'll follow the technique I demonstrated in this earlier video. Watch it for more context. Let's start with printer.cfg. I make a timestamped duplicate of the updated file, then open it in the editor. I select all and copy the current version on the left side of mergely.com, marking that side as new. Then I drag and drop the backed up previous version on the right side and mark it as old. We immediately see the differences. Let's explore and apply them together. First, I needed to re-add the include line for my macro collection. It's not included in the official version, of course. If you aren't using them yet, check out this video where I talk about these practical additions. We can simply click the little arrow in front of the line to carry the original line over to the new file. We also notice that an include line for plr.cfg has been added in the new version. We'll keep it, of course, as this is for power loss recovery. Stick around until the end. We're going to test this exciting new option in the new firmware. Moving down, we see some additions in the accelerometer and resonance tester sections. We keep those, of course. The default input shaper parameters are not commented out in the updated printer.cfg, so I click the arrow to copy my commented lines with the hash marks in front of them. Let's remember to also copy the original measured values at the bottom of the files. This saves us from needing to redo the resonance test. In my SV08 dial-in video, we made some changes in the probe section following the recommendations of 3D Print Daemon. I want these changes in the new setup as well, so I click the little arrow to transfer them. I also experimented with changing the rotation distances for the stepper motors, but eventually restored the stock values. Still, I retain these updated lines as I have my measured values in the comments, which could come in handy later. I had to increase the driver SGTHRS value to tame the sensorless Y-homing on my printer. It was just too loud. This change needs to be merged into the new config as well. 3D Print Daemon also recommended slowing down second homing on Z to improve probe accuracy. We'll retain that setting as well. Similar to the input shaping values, we'll comment out the default PID values and copy our own measured values at the bottom of the file. This needs to be done for both bed and extruder. Here's the CPU fan upgrade I talked about in my recent SV08 video. I'm a bit disappointed that Sovol didn't include this awesome improvement in the update, but nothing stops you from adding it yourself. Since I already had it in my old setup, I just copy it to the new side. I changed the mini screen color, which I also copy over. Sovol updated the LED cycle time, so it now dims correctly. I already had this change in my setup. I also increased the idle time from 10 minutes to several hours, allowing for proper bed heat soaking and preheating the enclosure. Finally, we can copy all our previous settings and calibrations at the bottom of the printer.cfg file. Be sure that both your bed and nozzle PID lines, as well as the default input shaper lines, are all commented out above. Now we can select all text on the left side, copy and paste it to replace the content of the printer.cfg file open in our main sale tab. Save and close. I checked all the other config files for changes and noticed that moonraker.conf has also changed. So I went ahead and restored my earlier adjustment by commenting out the auto render line. This enables the auto render switch for time lapses. I'm not sure why they lock it in the off state in both 2.3.3 and now in this new 2.4.6 update as well. The next file you might want to selectively restore is macro.cfg, but only if you made changes to it earlier. Again, I'm using Mergely to re-add my changes. Essentially, adjusting all the various preprint routines to work correctly with bed temperatures other than the default 60°C. Very important if you plan to print filaments other than PLA. You can find more on this in my earlier video about printing PETG. I also noticed that Sovol added some power loss recovery related macros and calls in this firmware update, along with a bug fix in the macro resume, a fix I already helped you with in one of my summer videos. But now everyone will get the fix from the official source. We'll be testing the updated power loss recovery in a minute. You might have noticed a significant degradation in webcam image quality. We can selectively restore the settings for a higher resolution, and my flicker removal line in the crowsnest.conf file, which I recommended to add in my enclosure review video. Don't be discouraged by your print history being reset by this update. If you followed my advice and backed up your Moonraker database earlier, it's as simple as copying those old files over the new ones under Home Sovol Printer Data database using WinSCP. Finally, we need to reboot the printer for all these changes to take effect. And voila, here is the restored CPU cooling and print history and all the rest. Before we test and check out the changes, please reward my efforts with a like below the video, and thank you if you did. As a quick test, I printed this handy keychain whistle from 3D Michael. I put the Thingiverse link in the description below. It's a practical tiny print that completed without a hitch. I was careful though and printed it in the corner. I didn't want to ruin the center of the PI sheet in case the Z offset was not restored correctly, but it was. So you can follow my method with confidence. Moment of truth. Does PLR work? I started a second print, but interrupted the power at around layer 3. Then I turned the printer on again. It booted up, but did not continue automatically. I had to use the command resume interrupted. Klipper found the last file printed. The print head did a partial homing and waited to hit the bed and nozzle in the back right corner. It then resumed printing at layer 4, finishing the print. All good. But how's the print? Unfortunately, there is a significant layer shift in the Y direction. It's better than nothing, but way less than perfect. I guess there is some uncertainty at homing, so you could be luckier. Or is it due to my adjustments to the sensorless homing on Y? Anyway, just know that this is how it works. It's not automatic on power restore. You have to issue the resume interrupted macro manually. If you're around and the bed is still hot enough to hold the model in place, this could be a Hail Mary. So, is it worth updating? Why not? It takes 15 minutes. While it doesn't update Klipper or Moonraker to a newer version, there are some useful bug fixes in here, and the PLR option is really nice to have. We take it a bit slower around the holidays, but so much is planned for 2025. Be sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss any of these updates. Thank you for using my affiliate links and not using the Honey browser plugin. It turns out Honey is stealing our affiliate commissions by switching out the browser cookies at the last step of any checkout. Just research the topic on YouTube. And thank you to the good people who have also decided to support us directly over on Ko-fi. You all make it possible for us to keep making the content you enjoy. Be it on the SV08 or one of the other machines, go print 3D in the new year too. Thank you for all your kind support for Gergo Print 3D. Happy 2025.